What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people regarding Social Security. What is happening? What is coming for the American people? What can they expect in the near future? Now, there is one proposal out there. It is called the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023. It started years ago, but then it was the Social Security Expansion Act of 2022, and now we have the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023. Here's what you need to understand. This is from an independent out of Vermont. This is from Senator Bernie Sanders. He has been pushing to see the wealthy pay for an increase to Social Security benefits. Well, here's what we know. Right now, it's going to be very difficult to see the House and the Senate vote for the same bill and get it passed and then get it pushed over to President Biden's desk and have him sign it, simply because the House is run by Republicans and the Senate is run by Democrats. So here's what I can tell you. There's good news here. The good news, as of right now, is that there is actually more support for the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023. The bad news is it is highly unlikely this is going to pass. And I bring this up, and I've talked about this before. I talked about this earlier on today, talked about this yesterday as well and the day before. But here's the problem. Until we get bipartisan support on the debt ceiling, whether it's an increase, whether it's cuts, no matter what it is, a suspension, doesn't matter. There has to be bipartisan support there first. Once we get bipartisan support on the debt ceiling, and then we have bipartisan support on the federal budget for fiscal year 2024, then, and only then, we will likely see more of these discussions and negotiations go on as far as Social Security is concerned. But I want to bring this up because somebody asked me just the other day, is there a possibility that we will get this $2,400 increase for Social Security? Now, that was the question I got the other day. Here's what I want to say. Senator Bernie Sanders has multiple lawmakers that are on his side that do support this proposal. They include Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's a Democrat out of Massachusetts. We got Republican or Representative Jan Schakowsky. It's a Democrat out of Illinois. And then Democrat out of Oregon, Val Hoyle. And now, recently, we got support from Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. So there is some support behind this. The issue that we're facing is, again, in the House, this is very unlikely to ever be voted on. Not just even passed, just voted on. Okay? But here's what Senator Gillibrand had to say. She said, and I quote, "Even with Social Security income, many older Americans can't afford basic necessities, things like housing, food, medicine, and care. While Social Security will not go broke anytime soon, starting in 2034, which actually is 2032, it won't have enough to cover all of the promised benefits." Here's what I can tell you. She's 100% correct, except for the date. It's not 2034. It used to be, but now it's actually picking up because more people are collecting benefits. There's less revenue going in. So now the Congressional Budget Office states that Social Security would actually become insolvent by 2032. So in only 9 years, not 11. But she says older Americans, can't afford basic necessities like housing, food, medicine, and care. Here's why I wanted to mention this quote. Because what she is saying is something that is extremely relevant. And I say this because there's a very good chance we will not see a penny more of an increase to Social Security. Here's the good news. For people that are collecting Social Security, if you are just accepted, right, and you get benefits, what we are now hearing is that lawmakers have been discussing workarounds. Okay, kind of a back door to get some benefits, like assistance for housing, more assistance for food, because this is something that I know millions and millions of people are struggling now in March, simply because the supplemental allotments for SNAP benefits ended at the end of February. So for March, on average, I believe people lost like $130 a month. $130 a month is a pretty substantial loss. Now, one thing I can tell you though, when it comes to medicine, obviously, we do have certain provisions or certain pieces of legislation currently being discussed, especially from President Biden, where he wants Medicare to be able to negotiate prescription drug prices. That's a big one. So that's, again, it's a workaround. Instead of giving the American people or raising Social Security, this is the workaround. Okay? Instead of giving you an increase in benefits, what they want to do is decrease the amount of money you have to pay. And again, so this is a potential increase to the amount of money you get to hold. As far as an increase to your payment, no. But again, if they take away some of the payments that you are making, that is where you're going to see this increase. And as far as care, they're working on stuff there as well. So one thing I just want to reiterate is the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023. Do I think this is going to pass? No, I don't. Do I think there's going to be more support of this? Yes, I do. And do lawmakers believe they're going to find a solution for Social Security recipients? The answer is yes. And so all those questions that I get, and I read them every single day. I'm looking at different questions and comments and emails that I get, and everybody wants to know, what can we expect? Well, I talked about this earlier on today, and I said, we are going to see something happen for Social Security. It's not going to happen in the next couple weeks. As of today, lawmakers are actually going to go on their recess for Easter. They're not going to come back until, I believe, April 17th. So we're not going to see any lawmakers. We really won't see many lawmakers in Washington anyway, but we're not going to see any in Washington. We're going to hear some reports. We'll get probably some interviews from lawmakers as well. And hopefully they bring this up. Hopefully they talk about it as to what we can expect. Because at this time, and I talk about this every single day, is you have to be prepared. Well, if you are on Social Security, how can you prepare yourself if we don't know if there's going to be some type of a decrease because Social Security is going to become insolvent sooner than expected? Or how do we prepare if we don't know if there's going to be something else coming along that we need to plan for, right? Are we going to get additional benefits? Is Congress going to do something so that we don't have to pay as much for our medicine and our care? If that's the case and we can use some of that money elsewhere, then great. But if we can't, again, how do you plan for it? And this is why I bring these updates to you constantly, is so that you understand what's happening, what's being talked about, and what could potentially go on and be passed in the future. So I just want to be 100% clear. I don't think the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023 is going to pass. I think it's going to be a very difficult thing to do. But are there things within it that I think we could see? Yes, I do. But again, by raising taxes to the wealthy, I don't think that's going to work. We could see a slight increase to their taxes, but the big thing is, how much money are we going to pull back from all the excessive spending that has happened over the past year or two? That's the big one, and that's what Republicans want to do. So once we know a little bit more as to what is going on for Social Security, I promise I'll come back on and I'll share all the latest news and updates. All you got to do is do two things. Hit that like button on this video and also click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.